One ecosystem. But we respect everybody, and we better than everybody. So we will run with anybody. No fiat, no better than we. No kind, no better than we. Step on me one and say, one ecosystem to the world you say. One ecosystem will do something, do something, do something, do something. Uno do something, do something. I'm not talking. One ecosystem will do something, do something, do something, do something. Uno do something, do something. I'm not bagally chasing. Hey, hey.
Good evening to Trinidad and Tobago. Good evening, Caribbean. Good evening, Will. This is Brother Noel Emmanuel Jack, and this is the show Beyond 2021, Season 4, Episode number 21. It's a fantastic Wednesday evening. You know, the weather is beautiful on the outside, and it's warm here and cozy on the inside. We welcome you, one and all, to this wonderful show Beyond 2021, where we delve into the emerging technologies, the latest technologies that are conjuring upon us in this contemporary time that we live in. We want you to position yourself, as you do every Wednesday evening, to learn all about the emerging technologies, the changing face of finance, what we call a financial revolution, the emergence of things like robotics, artificial intelligence, the metaverse, and of course, blockchain technology and cryptocurrency. With me this evening on this show is Mr. Cliff Samal Singh. We want to say welcome to you, my dear brother. How are you?
Thank you very much. I am doing well, man. I'm doing well. Just me alone again this evening. No Donna this side. But I think whilst you went welcoming everybody, I want to, on behalf of the crew, welcome you, because we have missed you for a couple of sessions.
Yes,
and I know we have a little fan base out there. And you know, they were probably wondering what's going on here. So they will be very happy to see that you're alive and kicking.
Yes.
Yeah, so
I'm alive and everything is well by God's grace, you know. So thank you so kindly. You know, I missed the show actually. I'm happy to be here once again. So greetings to everyone. Welcome. Our topic this evening, we are delving into what is called the World Economic Forum. What is the World Economic Forum? What influence has the World Economic Forum upon our world? We're also talking about the Great Reset and the rise of that phenomena that we are all too familiar with now, and becoming more familiar with cryptocurrency, or you can call it the digital revolution, or digital currencies as well, virtual currencies, right? So our show is about cryptocurrency, blockchain technology. We are talking really, in essence, about our one ecosystem. This is a cryptocurrency called OneCoin or ones, and we want you to become more aware as to the emergence of cryptocurrencies, digital currencies, how you can position yourself, how you can benefit from this emerging technology. Okay, so before we continue on the fourth industrial revolution, we want to take in a video here about the fourth industrial revolution. Okay, we'll have a disclaimer first, and then after that disclaimer, we'll have that short video about the World Economic Forum. Yes? So we now have our disclaimer.
So as we like to mention and to remind our listeners, though we exchange ideas here, we, however, are not financial advisors. This is not financial advice, nor are we your financial advisors, as we said before. The topics discussed on the show are purely for educational considerations and are not meant to be misconstrued as financial nor investment advice. So, we just want to remind persons here, as we said before, that we, however, are just willing to turn on the light on issues and topics relating to cryptocurrency, but more specifically to the one ecosystem. So I'll give it back to Brother Noel because I know we have a jam-packed show this evening for you guys here. A lot of information. I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible to flow with.
Yes. Okay, so we're now taking that video about the World Economic Forum. Okay, so there you have it, my dear people, a summary of the World Economic Forum. What's it really all about? You know, we are living in a time that is very, very progressive. It's moving at a rapid pace. There are a lot of issues that are congrowing upon us, you know, simultaneously. You know, we have advances in technologies. We have issues in our financial system. We see people hooked on, locked on to the internet. You know, they are carrying their cell phones wherever they go. Everybody is locked on their cell phones. You know, there's war going on. There's massive unemployment. There's talk of recession. Issues of crime, issues of political corruption. What many people are not aware of is that the issues that are presently confronted us, they don't just happen by chance. A lot of the yes. Okay, so there's a little technical difficulty here. Just hold on for a little bit, people. We're gonna rerun the video because no one was here and the audio maybe was off, right? So that's, apologize for that. So let's take in the video once again and we come back.
Changing at an incredible pace. What the World Economic Forum does is bring together leaders from all different backgrounds, from all different walks of life. And that provides a unique space for new ideas and new solutions to flourish.
Forum is really a very unique place. It's a place where industry comes together to work with government, to work with NGOs, academics, to truly make a difference in the world.
Leaders come together because of their own personal commitment to one another, to see follow-up to the discussions that they had at our meetings.
I'm generally really sceptical about panels and debates and presentations and whatnot, but I've actually been shocked to discover in the last year that it makes a huge difference.
The present challenges in a complex, interconnected, fast-moving world cannot be met by one stakeholder group alone. It needs collaborative efforts.
Magic moments happen all the time at the World Economic Forum, where the right kind of constituent unexpectedly will come together with somebody else who's looking for exactly that expertise.
Not only do the multi-stakeholder groups that we bring together talk, they also make changes.
A lot of the answers reside with practitioners, civil society voices, social entrepreneurs, young people, and others who are on the ground working with these populations at the front lines and finding solutions.
It challenges all your assumptions about your existing worldview, regardless of which part of the world you're from and how much experience you have.
Nowhere in the world is there another forum which brings together governments, NGOs, corporate leaders, activists, artists, musicians, to all come together and talk about the biggest issues facing the world.
In global challenges, very often there is no right answer. There is a best answer. That best solution only comes from engaging a diversity of stakeholders.
Yes, welcome back. So that video there that you saw gave us a little understanding of what the World Economic Forum is all about, right? It is really a collaboration of the private sector, governmental sector. It's a private-public collaboration. We're talking about governments, we're talking about big business, we're talking about corporations, we're talking about the very citizen, right? And this whole World Economic Forum was set up by a guy named Mr. Carl Schrubbs. Mr. Carl Schrubbs is the founder and he's the executive chairman of the World Economic Forum. And it was founded back there in the year 1971, okay, for this purpose of bringing private and public sector together to create revolutionary changes, you know, around the world. And what we see happening, people, you know, as I was mentioning before, excuse me, people are using cell phones, you know, they're driving in electric cars or hybrid cars. You know, they're having what we're having right now, a Zoom discussion, a platform where, you know, we can share information. You know, people are traveling around the world. There's the issue of the vaccination. All of these things are happening around us. And many of us don't think of where it all started. What we see happening in our modern technology really is fomented, it is what is brought out, in essence, by the World Economic Forum. Once we're talking about the fourth industrial revolution, we're talking about information, communication technology, the emergence of the internet in this more advanced state, quantum computing, robotics, artificial intelligence, even what we now know as social media platforms and the metaverse with Mark Zuckerberg. All of these things are taking place because of the World Economic Forum, because the social engineers and the physical engineers, those people who delve into the digital space, they're the ones that have worked together, collaborating this effort together to bring us the world that, yes, right, to bring us where we are right now. This is what is happening. So with the World Economic Forum, what they're doing is that they're bringing all the technology together to fast track greater collaboration, what is called multi-stakeholder capitalism, where there's more accountability with corporations, shareholders can profit more, business can flourish better, everything can happen faster. Now, there are some things that are good about it, and of course, there are some things that are bad about it. The claim is that there is conspiracy. The claim is that there are, bigger control, more power to a few people, even though the World Economic Forum themselves will say not so. But there are some that are seeing some sinister ambitions behind it all. And we have to be very, very careful now. The whole issue of the vaccinations, right? The whole issue of things like the social credit system that we see in China, the whole issue of vaccine card, the whole issue of the depression, the economic recession that is imminent, the global meltdown of what is happening, even concerns of food crises and so on. So while there are a lot of flowery stuff being bandied about, potentially what can happen with the World Economic Forum and the collaboration together as a world, targeting the economy, targeting the digital space, targeting poverty as it were, targeting disease. Right there, some people still are apprehensive to what is the agenda. So the World Economic Forum was founded by Mr. Karl Schwab. He's a professor, very, very learned man, born in Germany, and it was founded in 1971 in Switzerland, right? And they meet ever so often around January in a place called Davos in Switzerland, and they hammer out the agenda. And what we are looking at right now is the agenda towards 2030. And they said that this thing must happen fast. It must happen fast. So the world is becoming, a global village. It is becoming smaller, and everything now is about to be institutionalized and controlled, right? They are saying that it is to the benefit of mankind, but there are others that have different views. But we cannot help but identify the fact that this is what is going on. It's not going to turn back, because the engineers behind it, the scientists behind it, the think tanks behind it, this is where they're steering the world in this direction. And the whole situation was, I want to say, exacerbated or facilitated by the inception of COVID-19, right? Back there in 2020. We are now into the pandemic about 2 years, and a lot of things have changed back then. So based upon my analysis of what is happening in the World Economic Forum, what is going on in the world, financial systems of the world, what we are seeing now is after COVID or post-COVID, or while we are going through COVID, certain changes are taking place. So the plan is to reset the world, to make the world different, to allow all these technologies to congregate upon us, as they say, to make the world better. But again, there are some considerations that we have to look at and take into.
Brother Noel, may I interrupt at any time?
Each of us, nations of the world, go ahead.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Brother Noel, I wanted to, I'll be honest with you. Before you had told me about this topic we wanted to discuss, World Economic Forum, I just knew some things about it. I'm not as detailed as you are, or I didn't go into depth as you have done. I used to always hear for years about you have this group of persons who run the world, and they call them different names. I heard a name called Illuminati, different names.
Yeah.
And then I came and I hear this World Economic Forum, and when I got the breakdown, is consistent with what you're saying, where is a group of persons, from what I understand, like you said, they meet about 3 or 4 times a year in different areas, including there's a annual meeting in China. That's one of the meetings. They're based in Switzerland, and they look at technology, finance, industry. They look at all areas where they see the world needs to improve. So they are the deciding factors, and I don't know what they use as a yardstick to decide. However, they then say, listen, this is how the world is to move forward. And as the video has shown, from what I gathered, a number of persons, is the who's who in their different fields, come to these meetings. Now,
yes,
from what I gather, again, the Klaus Schwab, as you spoke about it, there's another Schwab on in the board of directors of this bit. So I presume there's some relation. I don't know if they're related to the Charles Schwab Investments that is in America. But what I do know is that a number of these persons are bankers and business people, right? And I don't understand. I might be wrong. I might be way off now, but I do understand, according to the video that you showed just now, where the people are saying that they can help persons out of poverty and help the quality of life and so on. Then, from what I gather, they in their different fields are the heads. As I said, they are the who's who in their different fields. And whilst they have been running their businesses in that capacity, people's quality of life has been at a particular area. So how come when they come together now, they can lift it up when it was not being lifted under their management? That's what I say, you know. So all I'm saying is that individually, as far as I am concerned, and they like banks then, for instance, and any company, it is built to meet shareholders' value. It is to build the shareholders' value. And these are business people who are ingrained with our message to build shareholders' value. But they are coming together now, from what I have gathered and from what you are saying and what the video is saying, they are now going against where the emphasis is on building shareholders' value to where they're increasing quality of life for the normal man in the street, because they are determining where the world is going. So somehow I am seeing that it's as if they're switching hats then. They are on one hat when they're not in the World Economic Forum. These same people, and when they come together in the World Economic Forum, they are shedding their business hat now and putting on their more humanitarian hat. Am I correct in what I'm saying? You know it better. Am I wrong in how I've seen it?
Well, no, I wouldn't say you're wrong, right? You see, we have what is called public relations, right? Excuse me.
Well, what? I didn't hear you.
Public relations, right?
Okay.
So they present themselves. This is my opinion. This is my analysis of it, right? There are other stuff you can go deeper in, but at face value, they present themselves as caring, as concerned for humanity, as being, wanting to be fair and to be just, to make the world a fair and a more just society.
I pause there, Brother Noel, pause there.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. So how come that is the hat you're wearing here, but when in the field that you're in, right, you're not getting that? Because as I'm saying, you're a business person first and foremost, where your main job is to appease the shareholders and to maximize the share value. And to be able to do that, it means profit margin. You need to exploit whatever it is to be able to have as higher profit margin. And you know me, I like business. I don't have a problem with that. All I'm saying is that I can't see how this is where your mind is trained all the time, and then when you come together now, you are shedding that. Saying, listen, hey, I want to come together from a humanitarian standpoint. Somehow, I don't see the mesh. You get my dilemma?
Yes, I understand. And it's a dilemma that many persons who are awakened, many persons who do their own analysis, they have that issue as well. I was talking about the public relations aspect of it, in the sense of what they put out to the public seems so good. It seems so humanitarian. It seems so just. It seems so fair. It seems so revolutionary that, the world will be a better place. The world will be a good place because they will eradicate poverty. Of course, certain things are actually happening that are good, like with the speed of doing business, the issue of transparency with blockchain technology and so on, the rise of cryptocurrency, digital currencies, for the ease of doing business. So it all appears very good. But in reality, what is being meted out, I mean, there are some things that you have to question, and there are some things that you will have to come to your own conclusion and make your decision and position yourself to suit. Because, I mean, the thing is happening fast. They said it is going to happen fast. Over the years, when we look at the first industrial revolution, with things like water and the steam, coal, the steam engine being developed, it took the world forward. Similar with the other revolutions that came after, right? The rise of electricity, the development of cars and aeroplanes and so on. And then with the third industrial revolution, the internet, the emergence of the internet, chemical analysis and so on, even travels to space. So as the years came down from the 1700s to the 60s and so on, more advances took place in the world. So with the emergence of these technologies, with scientists doing their work, coming up with new discoveries, biotechnology and so on, analyzing the financial systems, a lot of things are happening. But what I am seeing is that the wealth of the world is in the hands of a few people, and they have the power, so they will have what they call a conglomeration. They will form syndicates and corporations in such a way. We saw it even recently with Elon Musk, with the purchase of Twitter for $44 billion. And so there's this amalgamation taking place, and the poor people, the people that the masses then, so to speak, they have to depend upon these institutions and these men that are literally calling the shots. So how do we fare in a situation like that? What can we do in a situation like that?
I have to agree.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. I think, we should take a break at this point in time, and digest the information that we went through. All right?
Okay.
When we come back, we can elaborate.
All right. So we do that.
Get started now. Get started with your One Academy package. Get started with your starter package. It's only $1,600 TT. Get your financial education from the One Academy. Although it's a beginner package, the information you're going to get from your One Academy starter package, you would have more knowledge than 90% of the world's population on finance for just $1,600 TT. Let's create a revolution. Let's spread the epidemic of our One Academy, One Life. Get it today.
Welcome to the Antediluvian Nature Center of Life Extension and Health Recovery. Coming from the Garden of Eden, the Antediluvian Nature Center brings to you breakthrough medicines and anti-aging technologies for all ailments and diseases in the body, nutritional therapies, naturopathic treatments, as we create opportunities of hope and celebrate longevity. And remember, the healing is from God.
Do you know? What am I speaking about? Do you know what is cryptocurrency? Do you know what is blockchain technology? Are you aware of what we currently face on a regular basis with quantitative easing, fractional reserve lending? Do you know? I am inviting you to come out of the financial darkness and into financial light. The only way for us to achieve that is with education. And one particular type of education is what I'm speaking about. I'm asking you to join the One Academy. It is a financial revolution of teaching regarding introduction to finance, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, helping you understand the world of money and what is money. What is money? Money is simple. It is what we agree upon to exchange for goods and services. If you want full comprehension, join the One Academy.
When I'm training for professional competitions, men and women always ask me for advice. To women, I say push yourself harder than you ever have before and go beyond your comfort zone. Focus on your goals. Men, if I am willing to push myself to become Mr. Olympia in 2022, then I only have one thing to say to you. Bring your
full 100.
Here we go again.
Good evening once again, viewers, listeners. Thank you for sticking it through with us. We know it's some information. Could be a bit heavy, could be a bit overwhelming. And we first of all want to thank persons who have been making comments, whilst we're on and even whilst we're off here. We got a couple of comments. One from our co-host, Dwayne Cadiz, who said there's definitely a conflict of interest in the hats that these persons who represent World Economic Forum are wearing. You also have a regular contributor. His handle is BiView, if I'm mistaken, BI-VU. All right, so want to acknowledge that person. Thank you very much for your regular comments and contributions to what we say. But I listened to Brother Noel say just now, and again, I want to go to the point. I don't want to say that the people are deceitful or hypocritical. I don't want to get into that. All I'm saying in my mind is kind of hard to understand because, for instance, I have in my career worked in both areas of banking and credit union, and I know one common problem that has, I believe up to this day, has not been resolved, where the banks still are saying, listen, the credit unions are not playing on a level playing field in that they are not taxed by the government. So that as a result, that is why they're able to get their profits and so on. Well, in credit unions, they don't refer to it as profit, there's another name. But generally, the banks are saying, listen, it's not a level playing field. And of course, the credit unions are saying, but the amount of powers that the banks have, if they were given some of that there, then they could manage it differently and they would be in a better position to be able to rise even further. So all I'm saying is that even at this domestic level, I am saying that there is no middle ground between these two entities. Yet at the World Economic Forum, these same business people are going to find middle ground with NGOs. This is what I'm hearing, and I find it hard to appreciate. That is all from my standpoint, my little naive way. That is all I'm saying. I stand to be not corrected, but I stand to be straightened out in my mind. I also know that when the crisis came around in 2008, persons must understand that is when cryptocurrency was officially broadcasted to the world. I'm using that term because people tend to say that is when cryptocurrency was invented. But it wasn't invented then. The concept had to have been done way before. I don't know exactly when. Timing had to be appropriate as to when to introduce it, and when the crisis took place, where a number of persons will be able to understand that is the same time when the first black American president, Barack Obama, came into power. And that is the first order of business he had to deal with. But the banks and them had to seek a bailout. And in their seeking a bailout, a number of persons in the public felt aggrieved, and aggrieved are using a nice term because they felt angered by the fact that the banks had done less than ethical practices in giving out loans and not managing the economy and the situation of money, loans versus repayments and so on. It wasn't managed nicely. And the banks were running into some serious problems. All of it had ballooned at this particular point when Barack Obama came in. And a decision had to be made. Obama could have allowed the banks to fall through, some of the major banks, and say, listen, like any business, gotta pay the price for doing stupidness, or Obama did the other thing, which is decided to have a certain money pumped into the system to bail out the banks. And out of that came an adage where the banks consider themselves too big to fail. The phrase that was used since that crisis, too big to fail. So it means that no matter what they do, they're infallible, right? So again, I'm coming from the standpoint, a number of bankers with this in their mind. Now, I'm not talking about our bankers at our level that we have. I'm talking about these are bankers who command the world's finances, and the central bankers of different parts of the world coming together, understanding that they are too big to fail. And they are then coming to say, listen, that they understand the needs of the people and they're in a position to come together to better the life of poor persons. I find it hard to understand. What I want the listeners of them to unanimously agree, however, and asking that of you, is that you must understand what Brother Noel brought this evening is that there is a particular group of persons who decide how your life is to go ahead. Group of persons decide what comes into your life as far as how far your country can develop, where there are different boundaries and parameters. You understand? People must understand that. Look, Brother Dwayne Cadiz is saying every viewer should look at the Netflix series called The Social Dilemma. Thank you, Dwayne. Again, I'm calling it out, the Netflix series called The Social Dilemma. Listen, there's information out there, and that is what's beautiful about this age that we're in. We have access to so much information. The challenge is that we just need two things. One, I to go and look. Secondly, the will to go and look. You know, it's very easy to say, listen, I could sit back and wait for somebody to bring me information to me, like what we are trying to do here. But at the end of the day, you can only do little things. The onus is on you now to go and find those for yourself. And this is why I've kept telling people that when cryptocurrency and also one ecosystem that we have, right, is called the financial revolution. That is our mantra. That is the slogan that we carry, the financial revolution. Why do you think that is called that? Because at the end of the day, it changes the concepts and the norms that the persons have been given going through schooling. And it changes, once that changes, and it encourages you now to start and look elsewhere for other kinds of information and other alternatives to what we know. Guess what? You are now becoming aware that power lies elsewhere. All right? So please understand, listeners and viewers, that what we are here is just trying to open up your mind, switch on the light bulb, but you at the end of the day have to still go, whilst we switch on the light bulb, you can decide to stay seated right where you are, or decide to go looking now that the room is lit. And we are hoping that you do so. We are asking to come on board with our one ecosystem, because we are providing information that can help you to understand that the cash system that the World Economic Forum is also agreeing on. Imagine in the beginning, a number of them who there were saying publicly that blockchain and cryptocurrency is not something that you should get involved in. And then a couple years later, Brother Noel didn't mention that as yet, a couple years later, those same persons are now saying, listen, we still say don't get involved in it, but we know that our banks are doing it and we are going to roll it out to the people, but then you can get involved in it. So again, it suggests to me that they are still willing to have control over your life. So at first they said, don't get involved in blockchain. Now, because persons have still continued getting to cryptocurrency and understanding a little more about blockchain, they now tell you, listen, they have switched and say, listen, get involved, but get involved when we do it through a called digital currency. Then the central banks around the world are using digital currency. Now, there are a couple of things that we are concerned about. One of the things, I want listeners and viewers, I want you to understand there's a particular name which in banking is called seigniorage. It's spelled S-E-I-G-N-O-R-A-G-E. I believe that's the name of it. It means the profit made from the printing of money. Very nice name they give it, seigniorage. Right? So there are certain central banks that will benefit every time money is printed. So given that digital currency is coming into being, they no longer will have that printing of paper dollar bills, right? However, they understand now that because the masses are heading more and more that way, that it is going so, that they must adopt, but they are suggesting that only adopt when we say it is. People must understand, people in Trinidad and Tobago and in the Caribbean, where we like to lag behind, there are some countries out there who have decided, I did a little research to understand who are already using cryptocurrency. And I did some research and as at the end of last year, right, a year ago, February last year, listen to this. Let's call a couple of countries. I just call a couple of countries so you can understand what's happening. In Nigeria, about 1/3 of their population either use or own cryptocurrency. Imagine that, Nigeria. In Vietnam, it's about 21%. Philippines, 20%. Turkey, 16%. Peru, 16%. You have Switzerland and Greece, 11%. That's of the population. China, who says that they outlaw cryptocurrency, about 7% of their population use it because you have a number of miners who have gone into high underground in China, and China has decided to launch their own thing. So again, they want to control it. All right. You have Germany and Japan, who about between 4 and 5% of their population already are using cryptocurrency. Now that is last year figures, a year ago. I am assuming it is even more now. So understand that when we tell you that cryptocurrency is the way of the future, we already have countries that using this thing, and I'll call out some figures. You, my listeners and viewers out there, in Trinidad and Tobago and by extension the Caribbean, have to please appreciate that you could choose to sit down on your hands and listen to the World Economic Forum talk and tell you when to come on board, what to use. Or you can say, listen, you told me before, don't get involved, yet other countries have gone ahead. And I am hearing more and more about this one ecosystem that if you understand it, somewhere down the road, once our community becomes strong enough, we can move from a financial revolution to financial freedom. That is what I see. And you know, to come on board to understand why I say that. Right? So that's my take on this whole thing, because I did a little research into it. And again, all I am saying is that there are persons who wait for the government to, Trinidad and Tobago government to read the budget and then decide how the budget will affect their lives. And there are persons who say, listen, whether the government read the budget every year or not, I determine how my life is going to be move ahead. Because my family counting on me, my legacy to be built is counting on me. So the listeners and the viewers out there, you all have a decision to make. Right? So I'm pausing here at this point. All right. So, Brother Noel, yes. I know you wanted some, you had a couple of things you want to touch on. I just thought I wanted to give ear to how I felt about this region.
Yes, I appreciate it so much. And you made a reference to the bankers, right? And you said not the local bankers here, but really the bigger banks, what I would call the international bankers, right? And these bankers, these finance people, ministers of finance, you know, politicians, leaders, CEO of big organizations, they're all part of the World Economic Forum. You know, people like Elon Musk, people like Bill Gates. And when you visit the website of the World Economic Forum, and I'm challenging the viewers to look at it, you know, there's a map that they have. I mean, every single thing is on that map. Every single thing is on that map. It is not left out. They have analyzed the economies, the progress of various countries across the world, including Trinidad and Tobago. They know what is going on. And we had a reference even just recently with Minister of Energy, the Honorable Stuart Young, being on international media and talking about how they are ramping up production of gas. With the situation that is happening in the Ukraine and in Russia, and many countries pulling out, how Trinidad can profit. But where's all that money going to? You know, he said that we were enjoying a fairly, you know, a nice piece of the pie, so to speak. But when you look at the citizens, that's not reflected. People are suffering, people are homeless, people are hungry, people are crying out, food prices are going up, all exacerbated by the war that is going on in COVID, the war that is going on in the Ukraine, and also the COVID situation. So when you visit the World Economic Forum's website, they have every single thing mapped out. Every single thing. In regards to politics, in regards to religion, in regards to justice, in regards to health, everything is there mapped out. And the saying is that they said, we will own nothing. We, the individual people of the world, will own nothing and will be happy. That's the level of mass control, the influence of this very big institution with over 700 employees, with offices in Switzerland, offices in Beijing, China, Japan, Tokyo.
Brother Noel, pause there. What did you say? They have offices in China?
Yes, Beijing. Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, they have offices in China. They meet in China every year as one of the meetings. Yet, in the news, we keep hearing where America and China have difficulty in relations. And we see where Biden talking against the president of China and how the measures they're willing to take, because if China don't comply with this, what they will be willing to do and so on. And yet, that is what we are told in the news. And then you are telling me and asking the listeners to understand that we are going out. Yet there's a group of persons called the World Economic Forum where both sides meet and they cordially discuss how the world is to move ahead, right? So there is anybody who is at war in the open, when they come at this World Economic Forum, we still talk about how the world is to move ahead. So is it then that when the news that we get in, where there's this animosity between nations, when they come at World Economic Forum, there is a peace ground then. So this way telling me now, so everything that we're hearing otherwise, all is forgiven around this table. This way telling me, so forget the wars that we have between both of us, because at the end of the day, we have to come together to know how the world moving ahead. This way telling me that this is how they do it?
Well, usually there's a scenario of they create the problem, and then they come with a solution, right? Right. Divide to conquer. So things are not always as they seem to be. You know, we often say in the local parlance when there is the divide on the political situation. You know, one is in opposition, one is in government. You know, and there's a whole set of people like in one party and another set of people like in another party. And in parliament, you see, they carry on. It's like a show. But after that, they knock glasses together, they drink, they talk, they work things out, right? So as far as I am concerned, the level of dishonesty, the level of corruption that we see being manifested in the world, the level of hypocrisy is mind-blowing. And the masses of the people are really controlled by propaganda that the mainstream media is complicit with. Because when you listen and you do the research, you see that almost all of these media houses, whether it is radio, television, the various journals, magazines like the economic magazine, Economist, and all these other different magazines, they are owned by one set of people, these same elite people. And it is as if they are steering the world in a certain direction, while putting a face to be benevolent and to be gracious and to be doing this and to care. And they talk about poverty and they talk about the carbon footprint and what is going on with the climate change and taxing many nations across the world, making millions and millions of dollars. And now corporations have to concede to certain things implemented by them in order to be looked upon as good, to be looked upon as protecting the environment and dealing with this climate change. So my point is, whether we like it or not, these changes are happening. It's called the fourth industrial revolution. It is a public-private collaboration, and it is with the elites of the world, the great minds of the world. They have reached so far where they have created what they call young global leaders. This also was initiated by Mr. Carl Schwartz, right? There are many groups that deals with entrepreneurship of young people. So across the world, they have captured the minds of all the leaders around the world, the scientists, the bankers, the politicians, everybody. And they are socializing, might I say, communizing the world, because with the emergence of COVID, you can trace that whole thing right back to the World Economic Forum. You know, we could talk a little more deeper things, but this is just part one of this show this evening. Next week, we are hoping to have a special invited guest on, where we're going to go further into elaborating more about the World Economic Forum influence on the world. That's why it's called the World Economic Forum. We're going to look more at the Great Reset, and also whether we like it or not, right? You heard before Miss Christine Lagarde, who was the former managing director of the IMF, now presently the managing director of the European Union, right? The central bank of the European Union, before she criticized cryptocurrency, right? She was very apprehensive to cryptocurrency. Apparently, now they're talking about blockchain technology. All the banks are talking about blockchain technology. So cryptocurrency is something that is happening as we speak. It's the fourth industrial revolution we're talking about. It is presently going on. Whether we like it or not, it is happening. What are you going to do there, viewer? Are you going to say, well, I'm not going to get involved? That is like rejecting the opportunity to earn money right now. You don't want no money because the banks control your money. No. What you have to do is to position yourself, acquire some of these digital assets called crypto, so that you can profit. So you have to use the system as far as they will allow, use the system as far as you can do it to profit, because we're not living in nice times. Just now you're going to hear of a massive food crisis, right? It was as exacerbated by the situation in Ukraine with Russia, right? And COVID. We have heard of farmers being paid not to plant food. We have heard of farmers who have large crops being paid to destroy the crops. We have heard of even strange fires occurring in different parts of the world, where big corporations that are involved in food manufacture, these corporations, these industries are being destroyed by mysterious fires, just like that. So something is happening. Disease is breaking out here, disease is breaking out there. There's massive unemployment. The inflation rate is extremely high. The issue with politicians being corrupt, and they're spending big, what they call deficit spending. They're spending big, but how much of that is trickling down to the masses? So we have to really be careful. We have to really do the research, as it was Mr. Immanuel Kant. I was supposed to read this quotation from before. Mr. Immanuel Kant, a philosopher, who says, a person can only become a person only through education. A person can only become a person only through education. And this is what we do here on Beyond 2021. We are seeking to educate the masses about the emerging technologies, encouraging you to position yourself that you can profit. Wise up, get up, and do something. Yes?
Yeah. I'll endorse that, Brother Noel. Thank you. I see we come into the end of the program. So all I want to say is that you had mentioned that we have a part 2 next week, and we have a special guest. So I don't know who that guest would be, and looking forward to the direction and the depth as to which part we're going to this. But again, listeners, don't just listen to what we have to say. Taking a little time, you have a week to go in and do your research, understand about this World Economic Forum, what they are into, how far the tentacles reach, so you can understand that your life is already being considered a puppet. You and I, just puppets as far as they are concerned, because they have to achieve their agenda, and no matter jump high, jump low, we just have to fit with the program. All right? Cryptocurrency, one ecosystem, is a way to be able to retaliate. You can choose to rock back, or you can choose to come on board. We beg you to come on board.
Yes, get involved with us. right? And this is the show now. We come to an end. We welcome you to next week's presentation again. So we hope that you will join us. Everyone have a good evening. God richly bless. Love you all. Take care. One out.
Thank you. Good night.
One out.
One ecosystem. We not frightened of nobody, but we respect everybody, and we better than everybody. So we will run with anybody. No fear, no better than we. No kind, no better than we. Step on me one and say, one ecosystem to the world. You say, one ecosystem will do something, do something, do something, do something. Uno do something, do something. I'm not talking. One ecosystem will do something, do something, do something, do something. Uno do something, do something. I'm not bag of lip chasing. Aye.